Solo birthday trips have become somewhat of a tradition for me. This year I chose Belize, and honestly from the moment I landed, it felt like exactly the right call. But I did have a little help. A friend of mine read my astrocartography chart and told me that Belize is one of the best places in the world for me to be, and after spending 7 nights here, I completely agree. There's something in the air here that is so calming, welcoming, and as a person navigating unemployment, it was the nervous system reset I needed. I split the trip between the coast and the mainland, and I'm so glad I didn't skip either one. On Ambergris Caye, I finally got over my irrational fear of water getting in my air tube and finally snorkeled. I visited Hol Chan Marine Reserve, Shark Ray Alley, and Mexico Rocks, which was honestly the most beautiful of the three. I finally crossed seeing the Great Blue Hole off my bucket list, and with 3 Pisces placements in my chart, I always end up on a catamaran staring out to the open water, just in awe of how vast the ocean is. Then I made my way inland to San Ignacio, and the mainland is a totally different world that you cannot skip. It's so lush, so green, and so grounded. I climbed the pyramid at Xunantunich, had a hands-on experience at the San Antonio Women's Cooperative, learning traditional Mayan pottery and cooking techniques, and visited the Green Hills Butterfly Ranch, watching butterflies in every stage of their cycle. And finally at Mountain Pine Ridge Forest Reserve, as an earth sign and true nature lover, it felt like a full reset and was the perfect way to wrap up my trip. This is exactly how I spent my 3rd solo international birthday trip, and Belize might be my favorite one yet. I made it to Belize! Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Dominique. I'm a native New Yorker who absolutely loves to travel, and I bring you along on all of my solo travel adventures as well as some of my girls trips and everything I do around the city. I actually share a lot of museum content, cultural content, and things to do in New York City, but my favorite thing to do is travel. So I also bring you along for all of my travels abroad. In today's video, I'm bringing you along for my 3rd solo birthday trip right here in Belize. If you're like me, you might have seen a video of the Great Blue Hole on social media and wondered what that was. So the Great Blue Hole is the 2nd largest barrier reef in the world, and it's right here in Belize. So that's what really prompted this trip initially. And then I started doing more research into what all there is to see in Belize, from the reef all the way to the Mayan ruins inland. I'm gonna be on the trip for a total of 7 days. So there's gonna be so much that I'm gonna see. I'm really, truly excited. I'm staying in Ambergris Caye for 3 nights, and then I'll be going inland to the Cayo District for 4 nights. I'm staying about 6 miles north of San Pedro. The reason why I chose this hotel is that it was beautiful and I wanted to do something different. I know a lot of people, when they come to Belize, or specifically San Pedro, they stay at the Alaya or Mahogany Bay, and I actually found this hotel further north. So this hotel is called Matachica Resort and Spa. It's actually a small luxury hotels property, and actually all of the hotels that I'm staying on this trip are small luxury hotels of the world properties. So that is always a go-to for me whenever I'm seeking out places to stay. If there's a small luxury hotels of the world option, I'm more than likely gonna pick it because I know that the properties are going to be amazing, from the amenities to the staff and service. So I'm really excited to see 3 of the 4 small luxury hotels in Belize. So to get here, you actually fly into Belize City. I flew from JFK. It was about a little under 4.5 hour flight. And from Belize City, you have 2 options. You can take the water taxi or a short flight. It's about 13 minutes. That's the option that I went to. I know a lot of people have talked about how it was very bumpy, but the ride for me was very seamless. I did not have any issues, and I actually booked the 1:40 flight, and I actually landed early and got through customs way quicker than I anticipated, and they were able to move me up and get on the earlier flight. So I was really happy about that. And so my hotel actually met me at the airport. So in San Pedro or in Ambergris Caye, everyone gets around by golf carts. I did rent my own golf cart for a couple of days, but I didn't want to be on my own navigating to the hotels. So the hotel actually provides complimentary pickup and drop off from the airport. So I was able to get picked up by golf cart from the airport, and they actually brought us over to a boat dock, and it was a 10-minute boat ride to get to the hotel, and the hotel has their own boat docks right outside on the property. Otherwise, the guys said it's about a 20-25 minute drive on golf carts. So we'll see. I'll be doing that drive over the next 2 days. So we'll see. So as soon as I got to my hotel, I was able to check in, which is really nice. I'm actually staying in a seafront casita is what they call it. And I actually really love not only the hotel so far of what I've seen, I also really like the room. So again, we arrived by boat, walked straight onto the dock, and then we walked into the lobby. We're able to get checked in very quickly. We were greeted with wet towels as well as a complimentary beverage. So their signature beverage is a coconut mojito, and I actually love mojitos, so I definitely had one of those, and then just made my way over to my room. So I'm staying in the beachfront casita room. It's actually really spacious and more than enough space for me being here solo for the next 3 days. I have zero complaints. So now I'm gonna actually head over to the restaurant and try to grab some lunch. I have not eaten all day. So yeah, it's time for me to get something to eat. So there are 2 restaurants here on site. One is more like a bistro and one is like a complete sit-down restaurant. So I have reservations for that restaurant on my birthday in 2 days. So I think right now I'm gonna try to check out the bistro. They also have a tree bar where they actually have like Taco Tuesdays and a rum tasting. So I believe the rum tasting is happening on either tomorrow, Tuesday, or the following day on Wednesday. So I think what I'm gonna do is head over to the bistro, grab some things to eat, and then probably chill at the bar with my book. For the rest of the night, I'm really just gonna chill. I'm going to apply to some jobs that I found on my flight here. If you saw one of my last vlogs, you know that I am unemployed and I need to get a new job ASAP. So that is the plan for the rest of the night. Tomorrow, we are heading to Caulker. Good morning. Today is the day we're heading to Caulker. I got up here at my hotel and just had breakfast. I ordered a breakfast sandwich. It was really good. So I'm glad to know that some of the food is really good here at this resort. So as I mentioned, this hotel is like 6 miles from San Pedro. So I actually have to drive down to meet my tour guide. This is actually a catamaran tour for the day. So I'm really excited. I love doing catamaran tours. I love being on the water altogether. It's just like amazing. So I'm gonna do this drive. It's 8:30 now. I don't have to be there until 9:30, and I've asked a few different people like how long the drive takes to get down to San Pedro. When I got here yesterday, the guy was like, oh, it takes like 20-25 minutes. And then I asked another guy last night and I was like, how long does it take? He's like, anywhere from like 35 to 45 minutes. And that just is because the people that live here obviously drive faster, and I definitely wanted to give myself at least 45 minutes. I'm an aggressive driver in New York in my own vehicle, but this is going to be my first time driving a golf cart for that amount of time, so I'm leaving a bit early. So we'll see what time I get there. It's 8:30. I feel like if I get there by 9:15, I'll be okay with that. So anyways, let's go. I made it down to San Pedro just before 9:15, so definitely made good timing, and it gave me an opportunity to walk around the town a little bit, grab some water for the boat ride, and head over to the boat. So I know I mentioned Caulker, but we actually stopped at Ho Chan Marine Reserve and then Shark Ray Alley before we made our way over to Caulker. And this is where I finally got over my irrational fear of water getting into my breathing tube, and I finally snorkeled. Ho Chan Marine Reserve was beautiful. Shark Ray Alley was great as well, but we were only there for about 10 minutes because the guides bring food to throw into the water to rally up the sharks, and once they run out, that's the end of that. Once we made it to Caulker, we headed over to the tarpon curve and fed the tarpons. This was actually pretty fun. You really have to put your arm all the way out there for them to actually reach and grab the food from you. So it's like a little bit of a shock, but definitely a fun experience. I ended up trying food from Chef Kareem, who has gotten very popular on social media. The food was good. On the ride back to San Pedro, they served some shrimp ceviche, and they were actually serving rum punch throughout. So it was definitely a great vibe, the ride back, and the sunset was perfect. Good morning. Yesterday, I think, went really well. I really enjoyed snorkeling at Ho Chan. Shark Ray Alley, it was a very short experience. We were only there for about 10 minutes, but it was cool. I would definitely say like Ho Chan is a must visit. Such an incredible experience snorkeling there. I'm also snorkeling again tomorrow at the Mexico Rocks, and I've heard that it's a little lesser known and people don't necessarily prioritize visiting the Mexico Rocks whenever they're visiting Belize. I'm excited to see like the different marine life that may be over at that location. So anyways, today is actually my birthday, and I have chose to celebrate my birthday by doing exactly what prompted this trip, the flyover tour of the Great Blue Hole. So I'm flying with Maya Island Air. It's a 1-hour experience that leaves from the San Pedro airport. So on the flight, everyone has a window seat, and they will fly around 2 revolutions to give everybody an opportunity to see the hole, and then takes us right back to San Pedro. So I'm really excited for that today. And when I come back, I'm actually gonna take the shuttle from my hotel over to Secret Beach and lounge out and relax for the day. So I think today's gonna be a really fun day. I'm excited to finally see the Great Blue Hole. This is like what really sparked my interest in coming to Belize originally. So this is the moment I've been waiting for. So I made it to Secret Beach. It's pretty chill. I'm not at like Blue Bayou. I might walk over to there later. Right now I'm actually at the first spot that is right off the entrance. It's called like Pirate Bar or something like that. I ordered a shrimp ceviche and some corn. I'm just gonna lounge out and enjoy the view, the vibe, and then my book. So anyways, let's chill out. With this being my last morning in Ambergris Caye, I got up to watch the sunrise, which was so peaceful, and then grabbed breakfast before my final activity, snorkeling at Mexico Rocks. I booked this through my hotel, and I'm so glad I did. Hole Chan and Shark Ray Alley were cool, but I enjoyed Mexico Rocks far more. Mexico Rocks is Belize's newest snorkeling area. It's a shallow patch reef system on the north side of the island with an abundance of corals, and to me it seemed like far more marine life. We saw so many sea turtles, stingrays, and colorful fish throughout the entire experience, which was about 2 hours. Okay, after about a 2.5-hour drive, I've made it to my hotel here in San Ignacio. I'm staying at the Gaia Resort and Spa. Just got to my room. I already had my welcome drink and my nice cold towel upon arrival. And so now I'm in the room and I love it. Let me show you. So we have a very nice and spacious room. There's a seating area right here off the entrance. A station with a bunch of drinks and water if needed. Seating area here right in front of the television. The storage closets and the safe is in there as well. Here's the bathroom, double vanity, a nice spacious shower. And they even have their branded body wash, shampoo, and conditioner. So I love it when a hotel has a robe and slippers because yes, I needed that. But now what I think is my favorite part of this room is the outdoor area with my own private pool. Also lounge chair and an outdoor shower that I will definitely be using. They even left a nice little note on the bed, a handwritten note. I love that. Good morning. I really like this hotel. Like, there's a ton of green space throughout the restaurant as well as like the property in general. There's a garden on site, so we're technically like in the jungle, and I just love that as a nature person, as a Taurus, an earth sign. Like, I just like bask in nature. So my sun sign is Taurus, but then my moon and like 2 other signs are in Pisces. So whenever I'm around water as well, like I'm just like very much at peace. So I really enjoyed the catamaran tour back in Ambergris Caye. But today we are going to Xunantunich, which is the Mayan ruins here in San Ignacio. So this is the Cayo District, and I tried to find a tour to take me. As a solo traveler, it's been very difficult to book things, or rather it's been very expensive to book things here in Belize. This is already one of the, I think it's the most expensive country in Central America, but I've had a really hard time like trying to book tours as a single person. Like, for example, on Viator, I will always look at Viator first for any tours, because it just makes it easier to find a bunch of options in one place. And whenever I would try to book a tour here, it would not allow me to book as a single person. The system would automatically like force a minimum of 2 people to book, which obviously is double the price. And that's for the ATM tour, the cave tubing, like every single tour here in Belize generally. I would say the catamaran tour was the only tour that I found that did not require me to book a minimum of 2 people. So what I'm going to do today is actually going to just take a taxi from my hotel over to the Mayan ruins, Xunantunich, and then apparently when you get there, they are already trained and licensed guides that can take you to the ruins and walk you through it, explain everything, and apparently it's only $30. Whereas if I were to book a tour, for example, through my hotel, I think it was going to be like $230 for me to go as a single person, which is just like ridiculous. So the taxi is supposed to be $60 or $70 that I had coordinated through my hotel. Now, when I was chatting with my driver that brought me over from Belize City yesterday, he told me that I really shouldn't pay more than 50 USD. And so he actually stopped on the road and like flagged down a taxi driver for me, gave me his number, and that guy said he would only take me for 40 USD and wait for me and bring me back. Now, initially I was like, you know what, that is so much better, that's a good deal, great. And then last night I kind of just like sat and ruminated on that, and I was like, you know what, I'm a solo female traveler. When he got out to talk to the guy, I wasn't there, so I didn't hear all of their conversation. So I'm going to, instead of taking the cheaper option, I'm going to take the smarter and safer option, which is going with the taxi that is coordinated through my hotel. Although more expensive, $20 is not worth me putting myself in a situation where I'm traveling with someone that knows that I'm traveling solo and could have poor intentions. And I'm not making an assumption about that man or, you know, what he's capable of, but it's just better for me to make the wiser and safer decision, especially when I'm traveling solo. So, anyways, I am going to have breakfast here at my hotel and then head over to Xunantunich. It is 8:25 a.m. and hopefully I'll wrap up and be on my way to the ruins around 9:30. It's about a 30-minute drive, it looks like, and I want to go early because it's going to get hotter later in the day, and it's been consistently at least 80 degrees so far on this trip, so it gets real hot, and I don't want to be out there when the sun is at its peak in the sky. So anyways, I think it's going to be a good day. Belize is home to over 600 ancient Maya sites, but most are still buried in the jungle and have not been fully excavated. Today, there are only about 15 to 20 accessible to the public. Altinha, Caracol, Xunantunich, Munkal are among the most popular. I decided to visit Xunantunich, the second tallest Mayan ruin in Belize, at 130 feet high, and it is quite a masterpiece. After Xunantunich, I headed over to the San Antonio Women's Cooperative. This cooperative was formed by a local San Antonio women's group made up of 9 Mayan women with the goal to empower women and inspire the children. The women started the cooperative to find a way to earn an income, learn new skills, and share their traditional knowledge not only with visitors but with the younger generation. I decided to do the hands-on experience of pottery and cooking, and as someone who enjoys cultural experiences, I really enjoy this.
So this has already been wedged. Wedge means that we take the air bubbles inside of the bread, and it's like kneading a loaf bread. Air bubbles inside is not good for building a piece because when it goes to the drying part, it cracks, or when it goes to the firing part, it explodes. So very important to wedge your clay before we give a start. So for this amount that we have in our hands, we start shaping it round. It will be a bit hard because of the wind that we have around. It will be very like cracky. But if it's cracky, you could add water if you like. Half day today for the kids, so they're
Having fun.
having fun. This clay is a bit hard, so we could add some water and we can. Yeah.
You said along like this, right?
Yes. You can add some water for here because I don't know. I think the bag is here in one area. Here we have a very high humidity. All depends on the height that you want to go as well. Cut.
More water.
Yes, as you add each coil, you need to add some water.
Okay.
So our following step is that we will be joining all that coils. I give a gently little touch for that coils to stick together. Then I'll start joining them. You could go from up down or from down up, either way. But we don't add water here. We want all the coils to be joined and not to be seen. This is what we're looking for.
Someone's having fun there.
Here in the kitchen, we will be talking about corn. Corn is the main staple in the Mayan diet. So if we have corn, we could survive only having it because a lot of stuff were made to eat using corn, and a lot of stuff were made to drink using corn as well. So when the corn is already clean and edible, then we come to the grinding area where we have the mano metate. Mano metate, this is the grinding bowl which is used for grinding all our spices, and it was used for centuries ago before a modern blender was introduced, a modern food processor was introduced. This is what we have as a blender in our kitchen. Grind whatever you need, dry spices, corn, beans, coffee beans, whatever you would like to grind comes through this. I'll teach you a technique how we would be using. We have a bit of dough already being done. So I grip this handle. This is like a rolling pin, but I'm not rolling. I just grip and press and slide. Come back, press and slide. This rhythm is what I will be taking. I'm not pressing so hard. I'm just going with the motion of it, like this. There you go. You want to try?
Yes.
You see my edges are not cracked because I'm supporting the edge part. Yes. Yes. And this would be my tortilla. No oil, nothing is added to this. Okay, this is already hot here. I take the bag off and I slide my tortilla there. There we go.
Thank you.
Yes. This is coconut oil and a bit of salt just to add the flavor to it. There we go. Yes, and this is what is done here is a corn drink made with the same dough dissolved in water and it's boiled back again.
Thank you.
Yes.
Good morning. It is my final morning here at Ka'ana. I got up and just had breakfast here at the hotel restaurant, and I actually tried something new. I tried chaya eggs. It was listed under the traditional Belizean breakfast section of the menu. So chaya is essentially a green vegetable that to me tasted kind of similar to spinach, and it was pretty good. So no complaints at all. So I'm actually going to be leaving Ka'ana this morning, but before I leave, I actually am going to do the tour of their garden. They have a garden here on site where they grow fresh herbs that they use in the restaurant. So I'm actually going to go do the tour right now. So let's go see what they got. So I had a chance to relax in the plunge pool in my room after the garden tour, and now we're at the Green Hills Butterfly Farm. It is like on the way to Mountain Pine Ridge, which is where Gaia Riverlodge is located. So it was a perfect stop on the way, and I really love visiting butterfly farms and like butterfly vivariums. It's just so peaceful. I love like just seeing them just flying around. It's so peaceful. So anyways, we're gonna do a tour here before we head over to Gaia.
Here at Green Hills we have 4 caterpillar buildings, and today I'll be showing you some species that we have in this. So you
Okay.
can follow me this way. Okay. So, well, in here we have about 4 different species, but then in the other buildings we have about 7. I'll be getting the eggs over that side and I'll bring them here to show you.
Okay.
So whenever they collect the eggs, they will be storing them in these containers. So then whenever they bring them in here, after 10 to 12 days, the caterpillars will start hatching. So there you could see a lot of babies.
I see. Wow. Oh my goodness.
They're very small. So you saw the babies in there? No, I'll show you the medium size after 1 month of eating. Okay. So after 1 month, the caterpillars would look like these ones. You can see them there?
Oh my god, they got so big.
They'll continue eating until they become a chrysalis. And then from the chrysalis, the butterfly will be coming out. Something about this species is that it would be eating mostly in the nighttime. So during the daytime, they would be resting the most. So the caterpillars will also be shedding their skin and their head 4 times. During that process, they will be changing color and also growing more. So from that tiny white caterpillar I showed you first, they will keep on eating until they reach this green color, and then they will be shedding their skin and head again and turning into this brown one. So you can see that one is shedding its skin and head. That's the head it's shedding, and the skin would be down there.
Wow.
So after they reach into this brown caterpillar, they'll just continue eating until they reach their full size. So every day what we need to do here, in those 2 months, is that we need to go through all the cages that are here, clean their poop, and also add in more fresh food because they do eat a lot. So as they keep on growing, we need to add in more food for them. And here you can see there are big droppings. You could come over this side. So after 2 months of eating, they look like these ones.
Oh, they look like slugs.
Yeah. They are tiny snakes. So the bigger the caterpillar gets, the bigger the poop is. So you can see the poop there. But that's the job of a caterpillar. Eat and poop.
Oh my god.
So the caterpillars will also be shrinking off like this one, and then they would be liquefying. And after that, let me show you the chrysalis. Okay, so this would be the chrysalis.
This is like a cocoon, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So the cocoons, well, they are for the moths, and then the correct term for the butterflies would be chrysalis.
Okay.
So then, after that, whenever the chrysalis are hard enough, we need to collect them, then store them in some containers. We then pin some in our butterfly garden, and we also export some to the US. So
why?
We send it out to one specific person, and then he's in charge of sending it all over the country to other butterfly gardens, museums, exhibits, or universities.
Okay, cool.
So the Hecale longwings will be laying their eggs in the passion fruit vine. So in the butterfly garden, we have a lot of these branches so that the butterflies could lay their eggs. And after they've laid the eggs, we need to collect them and then bring them in here. So after 5 days, they'll start hatching. So they'll do the same. Whenever they hatch, the first thing they'll be doing is eating their own eggshell. And then they'll start munching on the leaves. You could see a lot of them all over the plant. The orange
They're
ones,
tiny.
very small. So these are just 1 day old. So from the orange caterpillar, they will be shedding their skin on their head, and in the medium size, they would turn into these white caterpillars. You can see them there. You could also see that they are very spiky. So the little spikes that they have is what they use to protect themselves out in the wild. So these caterpillars are also poisonous to their predators because they will be gaining the poison from the passion fruit vine. As they keep growing, they'll still remain the same color, but they'll just get a little bit fatter. So after 3 weeks of eating, they look like these ones.
Wow.
So whenever they're in this size, we need to add in 2 bottles of food because one wouldn't be enough for them.
2 bottles, meaning 2 bottles of the leaves.
Yes. They would be changing color whenever they're about to become a chrysalis. So they will be turning into this brown caterpillar, as you can see here. So we need to store them individually in a cup with a stick. So whenever they're in this stage, they won't be eating anymore and they don't need no more air. So being in here is fine for them. So we keep them in here for 2 days. So in the second day, the chrysalis will be fully formed and hard enough to be collected. So let me show you that here. So after 2 days, this is the chrysalis.
It got smaller.
Yes.
Wow.
So the caterpillar shrinks off and then it liquefies. That's why it gets smaller.
Okay.
So in there, you could also see the last shedding of the skin and the head and its last droppings.
Wow.
So whenever these are hard enough, we need to collect them one by one, store them in some containers, then we pin some in our butterfly garden, and we also export some to the US. You can walk in. So if you see here to the front, we have some chrysalis that we get from the caterpillar buildings. So the ones that are here are the Cayo District. That was the species I showed you in the caterpillar building. So whenever we bring these ones, they would be taking 7 days to emerge as a butterfly. So whenever they emerge, they would be here for 2 hours so that their wings get dried off, and then they would be flying out like the rest. So this is what these ones are doing. So then this is from the smallest species, the glassing. So you can see that they are very shiny. So that would be a self-defense for them. Also the shiny part that are in these ones, that's self-defense as well. So whenever they're out in the wild, whenever a lot of light hits on them, they will be shining a lot and looking like the eyes of a bigger animal. So they're very smart. And then these ones belong to the Mexican blue wing, a small blue butterfly that you'll be seeing around. Let me see. So in the caterpillar stage, they will be shedding their skin and their head, and then they will be liquefying. So at the moment, inside of most of these chrysalis is only a liquid that we call the genetic soup, which is only the genes and the DNA of the caterpillar. And then the butterfly will start forming in there. So they will also be creating a hook, a natural hook, and some silk, and that's what we use to pin them easily that way on fiber cloth. Oh. Would you like to try doing one?
Maybe.
Okay, you can also see that that one is moving a lot. So they move.
Just grab it?
They are alive. Yeah. Like then you pull it down.
I don't know. No, I'm gonna leave it alone.
Yeah. So all these ones except those ones would be taking 7 days to emerge as a butterfly. But these ones, since they are from a smaller species, they would be taking around 3 to 5 days the most.
Wow.
So in here, we don't only give the butterflies flowers, but we also give them fruit like bananas, oranges, pineapples, or whichever fruit that we have around. And in this feeder, we also give them Gatorade. So they really like the sugars that are in there, but it also helps them a lot during reproduction. So here we also put the different host plants in which they would be laying their eggs. So you can see a lot of plants around, but the butterflies won't be laying on any plant they see. So they are smart enough to smell and then find their host plant. So for example, this is the antler leaf, and here you can see some eggs from the blue morpho. You can see that there. Not one.
Oh.
They look like water droplets.
Yeah.
So these eggs, we need to collect them every evening. So we have a lot of plants all over in the butterfly garden. So we need to go through all of them, collect all the eggs, store them in some containers, and then we take them to the different caterpillar buildings for them to hatch in there, and then we grow them. So down here we have the malachite. So these species like being under the leaves so that they could camouflage with them. This is another host plant, and all over it you can see a lot of tiny yellow eggs. So these ones belong to the Caulker longwing. So these are the branches that we need to collect and then replace it with a fresh one. a lot of butterflies. They are resting at the moment, and also since it's a little bit hot, they would be here in the cooler areas.
Wow.
You can see that they like the Gatorade and the bananas that are down there.
Mm-hmm.
So something about Green Hills is that we're also into conservation. So here we have 250 acres of land, and we're also into conservation. So we've seen a lot of wildlife around, like the jaguars, ocelots, jaguarundis, margays, and mountain lions or pumas. Well, we are very lucky to see them through the trail cameras, and we've seen a lot more wildlife. So it's something very good about Green Hills. So here it's not only about butterflies and caterpillars, but we also get a lot of different hummingbirds and a lot more wildlife.
Yeah.
Around 8 to 10 different species of hummingbirds, but these 8 that are here would be the most common ones. So we would be seeing them every time. So for example, there you can see the white-bellied emerald, which is the smallest species that we have here in the farm. So that one, since it's very small, it's oftenly confused with a baby, but that's its full size. And then another super common one would be the white-necked Jacobin. So you can see it on that feeder. It flew away. But we also get this big one, the violet saberwing. So that one really likes to fight a lot with the smaller species, since it's about 2 times the size from those ones. It would want the feeder for himself. So in there we give them sugar water. So that's what they like. But whenever we don't have that much flowers around, the feeders would be filled with a lot of them.
Okay, so I made it to the final stay on this trip. I'm at the Gaia Riverlodge, which is located in the Mountain Pine Ridge Forest Reserve. I'm going to be here for 2 nights. This is actually the sister property of Matachica, which is the hotel that I stayed at on Ambergris Caye. And I wanted to come here because I was having such a hard time finding tours that would take me as a solo traveler here to the reserve. I would have had to pay double to actually visit the reserve. There are a couple of different waterfalls here. There's a ton of wildlife and just like an amazing place to visit. I actually was originally going to leave today and head back to New York, but because I wasn't able to like find a tour, and because I'm unemployed and I have no reason to rush back to get to New York because I'm not running out of PTO, I decided to extend my trip by 2 more days so I can come and see this beautiful reserve. So I just got to my room not too long ago. The only downside is that there's no AC, but I do really like the room. I got the waterfall view room. So like once I come to the window area, all those like open, there's just like a screen, there's no glass. I have a perfect view of the Five Sisters waterfalls. And then also elsewhere in the park is the Big Rocks Falls. So right now I'm actually going to take the tram. The hotel has a tram that'll take you down closer to the falls. If you want to, like, you can hike it down, but I actually want to take the tram. And yeah, so we're gonna go head down to get a closer look at the falls and just hang out down there. They have some like lounge chairs and stuff down there, and I'm just gonna bring my book and maybe go for a quick little dip and just explore this reserve. Good morning. It is very early. It is 6:10 in the morning, and I'm actually going to do the morning jungle walk here at the hotel. I booked through Expedia, and by booking through Expedia, it got me one free tour that they do on site. Regularly, it's only $25, but it's nice that I have an option to do one activity here for free, given that it's been so hard to book anything because you need a minimum of 2 people to book any tour or activity. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and do this tour and walk through the jungle.
A lot of different type of plants, different variety. So we have palms, we have hardwoods, orchids as well, a lot of bromelias, philodendrons. You never tried turmeric?
No.
Maybe along the way we're going to try. You're going to bend it down, they're going to hang here. Okay, you can come up, you can get it. Take some leaves, all the way to the back.
Okay.
Okay,
Like this one?
Yep. Pick up the one there. Okay. And then you drink it. If you have an upset stomach, it eases it down. And also, if you have a lot of gas, chewing gum.
Chewing gum.
Yeah, chewing gum, the gum that you chew, it comes
Okay.
from a tree.
Oh, okay.
That is the natural, original gum. So not synthetic like now. Yeah, so before you have to go and slash those trees, get the milky sap, and then you boil it, and then separate the water from the latex. And then we used to mold it in 25 pounds or 10 pounds. And then that's the way how we ship it to the UK before.
Wow.
And then you just have to cut a chunk of it and then heat it up again. And then just put all the flavor, the sugar, the flavoring and the coloring. And that's how we make chiclets. But it is much easier and faster to build your roof with it because they are much longer. So one leaf is the length of a house.
Oh, wow.
So you just have to cut it and then split it in half. And then you turn it around. So it goes like X, like a diamond. And then you just start down, going up. So it just overlaps. And the water comes, just flows all the way down. So that's the cocoon palm. And then when they grow, like the one right in front of us is much taller, it bears a bunch of nuts. And the nut will fall when they are ripe. And then they will fall and then you collect them. And when you break it, there's a nut inside. So the nuts, you pound it and then you boil it. And then you just skim the oil. And that's where palm oil comes from.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so along the trail, we're going to pick up some nuts. And then when we get where there's rocks, we're going to break one for you, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, that's how you get palm oil. Another one around here. There, like 3 of them, 4 of them. So this is a baby rubber tree. So there's some bigger ones that grows into the wild. So you just have to get a machete also, just like how you do with the chewing gum. You bleed the tree and the milky sap, and then it turns brown. And then the brown stuff, you collect it, and it's latex. See, it is a little piece of it. You could hold it and see that's latex.
Oh, interesting.
That's where rubber comes from. Yeah, from the rubber trees. But you have to harvest the big ones. So when you get it, when you slash it, it bleeds a lot. It gives you a lot of rubber. So you have to find 2 hard rocks. That's if you get a rock that is not hard enough, it's actually it breaks the rock. So this is only the husk that I take off. So now I'm going to get in more into the nut area. It's right there. And there is a little larva. And this larva is edible. So it's very rich in protein. You just have to hold it like this, and then you remove the head and you eat it. So it has a milky flavor. Yeah, if you deep fry this, it tastes like coconut shrimp. Yeah, it's very rich in protein. So it's feeding on the nuts. You see right there. So this one here is not good because there's a larva, but the larva, I ate it. Yeah, this one here is more fresh, so this one here you won't get a larva into this one here. These are the nuts.
Oh, wow.
There's a nut right there. So you pound it, and it's very oily. If you put your
Yeah.
finger.
Coco. Hi, Coco. So I was hanging out for a while before I decided to actually come in because I wasn't sure how deep it was. There are no signs here that essentially say like the depth of the water. So I was just chilling for the most part of the day. But then I saw a few different people come in, a couple, and then a family with like 2 young kids who are probably like 4 foot nothing, just like me. So I was like, oh, okay, I could go in. And yes, I went back to the room, got my waterproof camera, my DJI Osmo Action 6, and now we're in the water. It actually feels really nice. It's 94 degrees today. The water feels really good. It's not cold. It's like nice and comfortable. So we're gonna go over there. I made it back onto the deck for one final sunset. So it's my final evening here in Belize, and I honestly feel like this was a very successful solo birthday trip. There's really nothing that I did that I was like, oh, I didn't have to do that, or I didn't enjoy that. Like, I really enjoyed everything that I did on the trip. I also feel like it was really well paced. Originally, I was only going to spend 3 nights in Ambergris Caye and then 2 nights over here in the mainland. And I'm really glad that I added those 2 additional days. I didn't end up doing Big Rock Falls, which is one of the attractions here in the reserve, because on the walk this morning, which isn't really a walk, it was definitely a whole ass hike, he essentially said like the hardest part that we did when we were going back up from the waterfall, he was like, essentially getting to Big Rock Falls is as hard or harder than that. And then on the entire way up, like I needed his help, like holding his hand as I was making my way up, because there really wasn't much to hold on to. And then my feet had started sweating, and then I had tevas on, so as you can imagine, like I'm crawling up all of these rocks and dirt and like leaves that are essentially slippery, and then inside of my shoes are also slippery, so my feet are slipping inside the shoes and outside of the shoes, so it was kind of difficult. And then there's no guide that will take you to Big Rock Falls. Like you essentially have to walk a mile or have them drive you to the like starting point, and then you have to do the hike down. And I didn't want to do that by myself, and he wasn't going to be able to like go with me and guide me. So I didn't end up doing that, but I really enjoyed just like spending the day at the Five Sisters waterfall and just like chilling out. So again, I'm really happy with the pacing of this trip. I'm glad I added the 2 days. I'm glad I went to the butterfly farm. This was a very pricey trip, I'm not gonna lie, and I'm going to do another separate video breaking down like the entire cost of this trip, as well as another video breaking down everything you need to know before visiting Belize, and then my top recommendations. So that will be coming up after this. But overall, highly recommend. The country is so beautiful. The people have been incredible, like so nice and like welcoming and courteous and just very chill. Like I would 100% come back here. The only thing I think that I would do differently is I would look more into hotels in the San Pedro immediate area. Now I will say I really did like Matachica. The only thing that I did not like about Matachica was that it was so much further out, like it was that 30-minute drive to get to and from San Pedro, and then like the last 20 minutes of the ride, or the first 20 minutes of the ride, either way, it was so incredibly bumpy in that golf cart. I hated it so much. That's literally the only thing that I have not liked about being in Belize. Actually, I have two things. First is definitely I did not like how bumpy the roads were in Ambergris Caye since I stayed so further out. Now I will say once you get closer to San Pedro, like it disappeared, so people that stay closer to San Pedro or in San Pedro will not have that experience. But for me, that was a bummer. It is something that like if you stay in San Pedro and you drive out to Secret Beach, you will experience, so just be aware of that. And then lastly, thank you. And then the only other thing that I did not like is that it's very expensive here, especially the transportation. Matachica was the only hotel that offered transportation to and from the airport, but getting from the Belize City Airport to Kaana, I had to pay, and then getting from Kaana to Gaia, obviously I had to book another taxi, and then now tomorrow when I go home, I'm gonna have to pay like $125 to get to the airport. Now originally the car service that I booked to take me from Belize City to Kaana originally quoted me 180 USD. And I was like, excuse me? So then I was like, I don't know about that, I'm not booking that right now. I just booked the one way, which I think the one way was 160. So that was a lot. And then the driver chatted me up on the way to Kaana, so he gave me his number, and then he had stopped on the road and, you know, found another driver for me. But I just felt more comfortable. I felt more comfortable reaching out to him and asking him to take me to Belize City because I can trace him back to a company. Like, I know he was the driver that was assigned to me through the company that I booked to take me from Belize City to Kaana. So if anything were to happen, like, it's traceable to me in my mind. So he's only charging me $125 to go to Belize City Airport tomorrow, whereas the company that had hired him to bring me out here quoted me $180. So again, it's expensive. Definitely transportation is expensive. I'll say now that I've seen the roads, I would feel comfortable driving here. I didn't necessarily, number one, want to take on the responsibility of driving in another country, and I just kind of wanted to chill and relax. But now that I see, like, okay, the roads aren't bad, there's really no street signs, honestly. It's just a bunch of roundabouts and speed bumps. So it's pretty okay driving on the roads here. Like if I were to come back, I would probably rent a vehicle. I think generally I would prefer to rent a vehicle if I'm traveling with another person. I am a little bit wary about like getting stopped on the road by police in another country and I'm by myself. And that's a whole nother thing. I went through a whole debacle with that going to Mexico last year to when I drove down to Valle de Guadalupe from San Diego. So yeah, I'm a little worried. But overall, I will say like I've felt completely safe while I've been here. The people have been amazing. I absolutely loved staying at every single one of these hotels. This hotel, not having AC, probably would be the third thing that I did not like. However, it's for good reason. It's an eco-friendly lodge, so I'm not 100% mad at it. So, anyways, I am going to just relax on the deck here. I ordered my dinner and I'm just going to enjoy the last couple of moments of my solo birthday trip. I'm not going to bring you along on the logistics of getting back to Belize City tomorrow, so I'm going to end the video here. Thank you so much for spending my solo birthday trip with me. If you have any questions about visiting Belize, be sure to drop them in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.